Hi. That was a great response. Sometimes people just like, hey. I know. Last talk of the day. I don't know why they put me last because my talk's fairly technical, and you guys are pretty tired. They put me last, so I was like, well, suckers. Um, no, but we're gonna learn some things today. We're gonna learn a lot of things. I'm gonna be moving pretty fast, so if you don't get it, that's okay. The code's available on GitHub, but we're gonna fly through a lot of things, and hopefully by the end, you're still awake. So, if I've learned anything from the internet and famous people, I've learned the one way to get people to pay attention is to say really incendiary things. Like get all the Twitter responses back. So I'm gonna start that just to make sure. Okay, everybody looks like they're awake. Just in case they're not, I'm gonna get people really angry. So first off, Fast and Furious 3 was the best Fast and Furious in the entire series. I'm not joking. Yes, thank you, person in the back. Thank you. Oh, well, that wasn't incendiary enough. How about this one? Captain Picard, best Star Trek captain. Oh, man. I'm trying to get you guys angry. Okay. This one I guarantee is going to work. The language wars are over in JavaScript 1. Oh, see, that was mixed. Why do I say that? Well, one, JavaScript's everywhere. It's in our phones. It's in our computers. It's in our cars. It's in our smart TVs. It's everywhere. And how about this? The rise of all the JavaScript conferences, how many are there now? 200, 300 a year? Why? Because people are hungry to learn. It's such a great language. I really, really love it. And by the end, you'll see how much I love it. But when did the war end? When was the parting shot? I'll tell you the exact day. June 17th, 2015. That was the day when TC39 released and finalized ECMAScript 6, as we all call it, ES6. This is a really important day. Why? Because JavaScript had been so bad for so long. Part of being a good JavaScript engineer was knowing the good parts from the bad parts. And there are a lot of bad parts. We know that. Everybody knows that. Well, the good thing is we have ES6 now. There's so much cool stuff in ES6. Generators, proxies, let, const, structuring. There is so much cool stuff. My mind was blown the first time I saw it. So with all this in mind, I have some good news and some bad news. The good news is we're going to learn some cool stuff. The bad news is you're going to learn some new syntax. I know. Some people are saying, wow, Jim, I just got my head around ES6. I'm barely getting proxies down. Well, we're going to learn a little bit more, but it's worth it. Trust me. Just trust me. So my name's Jim Young. I'm a senior software engineer at Netflix. My current favorite Netflix originals are Jessica Jones and Stranger Things. Really big fan of Stranger Things. Great show. If you haven't seen it. I'm around the internet as Jim Young, most places Young on GitHub. And today I'm going to talk about TC39 ECMAScript, service workers, and the future. Now, if you're still here, it's probably only two reasons. One, you fell asleep and you just woke up, so good afternoon. And the other reason is, well, you're probably just waiting for Festin, and you're like, well, my house is too far, I might as well stay here and see what this guy has to say. So either way, that's cool. But I'll make it easy for you. There's three parts. There's practical parts. The practical part you need to know. If you're a JavaScript engineer, you should know this stuff. This is absolutely critical for your job. The second part is inspirational. The spec's not fully finalized. Things aren't perfect. Not all browsers support it. But I want to inspire you. Third part is hype. Hype. I want to get you excited. I want you to go home and build something cool. Build the next Netflix. Build the next React. Build the next anything. That's all I want to do. I want to inspire you today. So let's talk a little bit about TC39 ECMAScript. Who here knows what TC39 is? Heard of it? Yeah, not a lot of people. So, and that's expected. TC39 is Technical Committee 39. What they do is they focus on the semantics, syntax, libraries, and technologies of ECMAScript. The good thing is it's just engineers like you or I. They work at some of the bigger tech companies, but they write JavaScript every day, so they care about what goes into the language. And at this point, you're probably saying, why should I care? Well, in case you didn't know, some people don't, ECMAScript is a standard, and JavaScript is an implementation of that standard. Yeah, not a lot of people know that. I don't know why they don't know that. Because there's also JScript, which was Microsoft's ill-fated attempt to fork JavaScript. That didn't work. So fortunately, that didn't work. Imagine 2 versions of JavaScript. Jeez, CSS is already hard enough. There's also ActionScript. Anybody who's ever written Flash and thought, this looks a lot like JavaScript? There's a reason for that. ECMAScript. But thankfully, that's also going away. And the winner is now JavaScript. So now when someone says ES6, they're talking about ECMAScript 6. Okay? We're slowly picking up speed here. So let's talk about ES7, ES 2016. That's the proper nomenclature. And you're thinking, there's a lot of stuff in ES6. There's a lot of stuff. How am I going to learn ES7? Well, remember I said, trust me? There's only 2 things. Radon includes the exponentiation operator. Really, really easy stuff. Radon includes, it's beautiful. It works exactly the way it sounds. It checks if something exists in an array. True or false. That's it. Who here has used index of to search an array? Yeah, everybody, because that's pretty much the only way to do it, right? And then we felt hacky to me. I was like, why can't we have a real function? Well, now we do. Radon includes. Really, really easy. Bonus, it works with not a number. I bet you didn't know that. Yeah, index of does not work with not a number. That is a nasty bug if you've ever run into it. But now we just use radon includes. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Next one, exponentiation operator. I love new operators because this one just looks cool, star, star. All it is, it's functionally equivalent to math.pow. That's it. Thank you. That's it. You are all caught up on ES 2016. That wasn't that hard, right? Okay. So that was a little bit too easy. I've talked to some of you, and I know you are really, really smart people. So let's talk about the future JavaScript, because I think you can handle it. Let's talk about ES Next. That's not the official TC39 term. That's just something community uses. Some people use ES Future. But I want to talk about what's in stage 4, as in this will be coming out next year. So you can get ready, get your code cracking. Pad start, pad end. It's exactly like it sounds. It adds padding to the start of a string, adds padding to the end of a string. Yeah, I'm not making those jokes. I already know what everybody's thinking, and I'm not going to make the joke. I said, not this year, Jem. But pad start, pad end. It's one of those things you're thinking, why wasn't this in the language to start with? Exactly. We're talking about progressive enhancement of the language, just slowly kind of making it a bit more mature. So really, really easy. Object.keys. Anybody ever use that? See the keys on an object? I use it all the time. Yeah, and I always said, why isn't object.values a thing? Well, it is now. Object.values. Object.keys gives you all the keys on an object of the own properties. Object.values gives you all the values. Really easy. You say, Jem, I want the keys and the values. Object.entries, they'll do it for you. So now we don't have to write for loops to iterate over an object to get the properties off. Really nice stuff. Again, not groundbreaking, probably not going to change a whole lot of your code, but it's the little things. Just like in life, it's little things that add up to make a big difference. So, object get own property descriptors. Yeah, probably 99% of people will never use this one, but it's good to know about it. And you give it an object, and it'll tell you all the values or tell you all the properties of that value on the object. That's it. Just be aware of it. You probably won't use it, but it's going to let you know about it. So I wrote this function. It's called best type of pizza. And it just prints out the best type of pizza. Those would be meat and meat. Those are the best types of pizza. But there's something wrong with this. There's a syntax error. Anybody see it? No? Syntax error? Anybody? Yes, that's a syntax error. I know. A trailing comma in a function parameter list is a syntax error. What year is it? 2016. Well, no longer. Next year, this won't be a syntax error anymore. So just like Python. Python, you can have trailing commas all day. Yes, Python. It's a great language too. But this won't be a syntax error anymore. So trailing commas by Jeff Morrison at Facebook. Awesome dude. He made this proposal, and it made it all the way to stage 4. So cool. All right. This one. All right, everybody ready? Get excited, energy level. This one I'm pretty excited about. Async functions. Yes. Yes. I love the enthusiasm. Man, there are a lot of things in the world to get excited about, and probably most of the world would not get excited about async functions, but I am, because I'm that kind of nerd. I am so thrilled about these. So this is a standard, standard function. It gets an image, and you save it to a cache. It uses fetch, uses promises, kind of gnarly. The cache API, that's brand new too, if you haven't heard of it. It just caches URLs and the responses onto the disk. Pretty nice API, but It's all asynchronous, so this is a promise. But this could be anything. But yeah, I know it's better than callbacks, but that's still not that pretty. Well, in come async functions. Wait for it. Oh, tell me that's not beautiful. Tell me that's not pretty. Say you don't like my shoes, but you can't tell me that's not beautiful code. And it's so much more easy to reason about, too. I can just look at that and say, OK, you're waiting for that, and then it's done. That's it. That's why I like async functions. There's nothing wrong with promises, but async functions are just a cleaner way of writing promises. Actually, the best way to think about it, think about if a generator and a promise had a baby. That's what async functions are. It's the best way to think about it. So these I'm really excited about, mainly because I still see a lot of newbies struggle with promises. And async functions is easy to reason about. But essentially, this isn't completely true, but essentially just think about a wrapper around a promise. So that's it. We covered a lot. We learned a lot of things in 10 minutes, maybe? Wow. Anybody's mind blown yet? No hands? Okay, thank you. Okay, so the good news is that was the boring stuff. Now let's get a little bit existential. I think a lot about programming, because programming isn't just, you walk into your office, your home office, wherever it is, you sit down, you write some code, you struggle. It's more than that. Programming it's a lot of theory. It's about why we do things, how we do them. So I'm on this podcast called Front End Happy Hour. And it's a bunch of engineers, and we have drinks, and we talk about front-end things. Sometimes we get a little bit too drunk. It happens, but we have a good time. But our most recent episode was in Salt Lake City for React Rally. And we talked all about conferences, kind of why we go, why should we go, are they worth going to, what do we get out of them? And my key takeaway was two things. One, I come to conferences to meet like-minded engineers, good friends. Second, I come to be inspired. My good buddy and a really good engineer, Ryan Anklem, he said it best. He said, there's nothing you can get at a conference that I can't get off YouTube or a blog post or a code sample. If you think about it, that's absolutely true. But when I leave conferences, I'm inspired. JavaScript fatigue is a real thing. You get burnt out so quickly. Especially, I just taught you all these new things, and you're like, oh. So now, I want to inspire you. I want to inspire you to build new things. Thank you. So with that in mind, I don't want to call this talk ES Next Service Workers Future of the Web. It's kind of dry. Let's call it something a bit sexier. How about we haven't even built the cool stuff yet? Because that's true. We haven't even built the cool stuff yet. And the backbone of all that cool stuff, service workers. Yes, this is the thing I'm really excited about. Service workers, I will go on all day with all the energy of someone newly born to religion. I won't shut up about it. I'll just keep going and going and going because they are that incredible. And a lot of people think so. Nicholas Bavaka of ponyfood.com said it best when he says, everything seems to point at service worker being the most significant addition to the web since Ajax. Now, think back the first time you saw an Ajax page. I know I'm dating myself here. And I thought, whoa, the page didn't refresh. Where did that data come from? It was magic. Well, this really smart engineer is saying this is going to be as significant, if not more, than Ajax. And Ajax is already the foundation of the modern web. What is service worker then? Let's dig in a little bit. Service worker is just a type of web worker. Yes, I know, web workers have been around for a long time, and service worker is just a type of web worker. It has all the capabilities of a web worker, except for some notable features. And again, just like in life, it's the small differences that make all the difference in the world. So a service worker, persistent, fully asynchronous, separated thread event-based worker with the ability to intercept network requests and cache responses. Yes, that was a very technical definition. Can you tell I have a degree in computer science? Yes, I wrote that. That's terrible. Let's break this out a little bit easier. So first off, a service worker is persistent. It exists outside the browser tab, and it knows when to expire. If you change a single byte on your service worker, it'll automatically pull in the new service worker and update itself, all in the background. It's beautiful. It's separately threaded, exactly like a web worker. It doesn't die when the tab's closed. I can close my laptop, go home, get on a plane, get to my apartment in San Francisco, open it up, the service worker's still there, it's still running in the background. Now, this doesn't mean it's always up and running. It goes to sleep sometimes, but it can wake up for push events, certain things like that. But regardless, it doesn't go away, which actually, it makes development very hard on because it doesn't disappear. It can just stick around. It's really hard to kill, but that's a different talk. Yeah, I will tell you, I can give a 45-minute talk on the perils of service workers, but it doesn't die when the tab's closed. That's good to keep in mind. It's fully asynchronous. You can't use local storage, which is synchronous. You can't use XHR, which is also synchronous. And it uses promises. And if you're saying, man, I don't know, promises, when's that whole async await thing coming out? Well, you got till next year. But it's 2016. You should know promises by now. And if you're going to use service worker, you need to know how to do promises. I'm sorry. It's event-based. Again, exactly like a web worker. You can't call any functions in the service worker from your main UI thread. It can intercept network requests. This is where it starts to get interesting. It can intercept network requests. What can we do with that? We'll talk a bit more about what we can do with that, but this is where we're getting some power to the service worker. It can modify those requests and those responses. That's so cool. Hopefully, now maybe the gears are starting to turn a little bit in your head. And it can cache responses. The cache is persistent. Save the disk, doesn't delete. The cache, again, is actually pretty hard to kill too. So I should give another talk on all these pitfalls. But the cache is amazing. It means I can cache all the requests going out and just instantly return them to the user. It's beautiful. So the service worker only has four main events: install, activate, fetch, and message. There's a few more, but these are the main ones. It's so simple. It's deceptively simple. It's like when you go home at night, you sleep in bed, you think, I'm safe, sound, secure. But what is a house? Some wood, some steel, some concrete. Individually, those parts are nothing, but put them together, you have a home, you have security, you have something that means so much to you. And that, to me, is a service worker. Individually, it's nothing. You know, it doesn't do much on its own. It won't magically cure cancer. It won't make you rich. It won't make you tall and, some say, roguishly handsome. But it has the capability to do so much, things we haven't even explored. So how do I instantiate a service worker? Like, we've already went over what is it, but how to instantiate it? So easy. Is it in window.navigator? Register it. That's it. There's no trick to it. That's it. Okay, so we understand what a service worker is now. Let's do a little bit of code to make this more practical to you. We'll start off really, really easy. Let's say you wrote an app, and you want it to work offline. How do you do that? Well, first, you have the install event. In the install event, you say, I want to cache these files. So what the service worker does is says, okay, it goes out, it fetches all this data, and it stays on the disk seamlessly in the background. And then once it's done, it says it's ready. That's it. So when we fetch, we say, hey, does this exist in a cache or not? If it exists in a cache, instantly return it. We're talking about zero lag. If it doesn't exist in a cache, go out and get it and then return it. The user, no idea this is going on in the background. So that's easy. But let's clean this up a little bit with async await, and the code's a little bit cleaner. So this is it. If you want to build an offline capable web app today, this is all the code you need. That's pretty powerful, and this is so simple. Again, it's the little things that make a difference. If you want a demo, you can go to young.github.io/service worker. It's a really, really small demo, and in fact, I made a video of it, so you don't have to bother. Don't want to kill the web page, kill the Wi-Fi here. So I've got the RESTify server running a local app, and I wrote an app, and it's called Gimme Cats, and it gets cats. Nothing to it. So what happens when we kill the server? And we're going to kill it and refresh the page. Oh, it loaded. That was nice. Will this work? Of course it'll work. It's a video. I already know what happens. And it works. But the beauty of this, in case you didn't see it, in case you missed it, the user probably doesn't even know they're offline. But the app just works. Jeremy's talk from yesterday about resiliency, this is building a resilient app. See, now we're getting somewhere. So let's get a little bit more advanced. This is serious. You probably won't understand this code because there's a lot of it, but I want you to understand the idea. So again, in the fetch event, what I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, is the UI thread requesting a JavaScript file? Okay, what kind of browser is this? Is it Chrome? Okay, Chrome supports ES6. Don't transpile it. If it doesn't, we're going to transpile it on the fly. How cool is that? We can transpile things on the client. That way, the main client, the UI thread, has no idea this is going on. The server has no idea this is going on. This is all going on in the service worker. So that if you're using a good browser, say Chrome, Firefox, this is the code you're going to get. If you're using an older browser, say Internet Explorer or Safari, aka the new Internet Explorer, you're going to get this code, transpiled code. But all this is seamless. All this just works, and it works on a separate core, so it doesn't block the main thread. Now, the practicality of this, debatable. If your browser supports ES6 but doesn't support service workers, that would be very strange. But the point is, it's just a wild idea I had. I was at a party, and I said, why can't we transpile things on a separate core on the client side? And my friend Brian Holt said, that's crazy, Jim. You can't do that. He didn't actually say that. But the point is, it was just a crazy idea I had. I said, I want to build this thing, and I built it, and it didn't take that long. And this is just the beginning of the power of the service worker. And that's all this is. Just, I want to give you ideas. Think about all the things you want to do. Think about a wild idea. Let's think of some right now. I have a photo sharing site, and I want to upload a bunch of photos, but that's pretty laggy, and that's blocking. How can we do that? We can do that with service worker. We just send those all to the service worker. The service worker can zip files up. You can do that in JavaScript, and then send those off to the server. And the client has no idea. They could have left the page, actually, and the service worker's still doing that job for you in the background. That's just one idea. Do I have any other crazy ideas? No, I don't. But if I do, I'll have to let you know. So these are some really good links. Jake Archibald from Google is pretty much the king of service workers. He's a really smart person. Service worker experiments from Mozilla. So awesome. They have better ideas than I do about what you can do with service worker. But that's the point of the worker, is that we haven't even come close to discovering all the capabilities of it. The future I see is maybe some sort of React-based architecture that runs in the service worker, or I don't know. I haven't even thought of crazy ideas. I'm thinking of some right now as we talk. I got nothing. Sorry. So we learned about the service worker, and that's definitely the backbone of the future web. But what is the future web? Future web, for me, it's FIDO. I know, sounds like a dog. Fast identity online. People are so bad at passwords. What's the most common password? 12345. And I love when you're like, oh, let me help the user out. I'll make the password length minimum 8 characters. So what do people do? 1234567 Not joking, that's what people do. People are bad at passwords. So FIDO says, hey, let's make a standardized API so we can get biometric data. Use your fingerprint, use your voice, facial recognition. This still has a long way to go, but it's definitely in the future. What else? Progressive web applications. What is a progressive web application? Something that just works. It doesn't matter what browser you're on, it just works. My mantra is the one I get from Futurama. When you do things right, people won't be sure you've done anything at all. Remember that Gimme Cats app? It just worked. The user didn't know they were offline. It just worked, and it's so simple, and it's so clean, it's all in the background. That is a progressive web application. So, I've been going on a rant, working up a bit of a sweat up here. Let's take an interlude and look at this picture of me and my grandma. I know, I love my grandma. Well, before I went off to school, my grandma gave me some really good advice. She said, Jim, don't forget to always concatenate your JavaScript into one file. I was like, thanks, Grandma. But it's true. We all know that. As JavaScript engineers, that's gospel to us. You see some rookie on their first day not doing that, you're like, how did you even get in the door? This is basic stuff. Well, I hate to break it to you, this is actually wrong now. It's incorrect. With HTTP 2, it's actually faster to not concatenate your JavaScript. It's faster to have them all as separate files because HTTP 2 can make multiple requests on the same connection. So this demo from Akamai is perfect for showing that. And one's downloading things in serial, one's downloading them all in parallel, which is faster. Pretty easy to see. The beauty of it is setting this up on the client side takes zero work, zero setup on the client side. This client side just works. Server, it's a little bit of setup, but it's not that hard. Looking forward to this. So let's talk about the good stuff. By good stuff, I don't mean the secret Netflix account that has every movie from every catalog available. It's not a real thing. Or is it? No, it's really not. So now we're getting to the good stuff, the really exciting stuff. Web Bluetooth. Now, go back to your past self 5 years ago and say to yourself, in a couple years, we'll be able to connect to Bluetooth devices from a web page. And your past self would slap you in the face and call you crazy. It's madness. Bluetooth from a web page? What is going on here? Yeah, that's possible. It's possible today. The code Admittedly, it's pretty gnarly. There has not been a good library yet to standardize all this, but connecting something like a heart rate monitor, it's pretty easy, actually. Well, when I say easy, I mean it's easy to copy and paste code. But Web Bluetooth still has a long way to go, but it's definitely the future of things to come. Now, this one, of everything I've talked about today, I'm most excited about. So, okay, this is a thought exercise. Everybody close their eyes. Close your eyes. I'm not going to show any slides, don't worry. Okay, close your eyes. So imagine this future where you have an application. The user is about to log in, so they're typing their email, they're typing their password, and before they hit that login button, you send them all the JavaScript files, all the HTML files, all the CSS that they need before they log in. So the minute they click that button, all that stuff's there instantly. Okay, you can open your eyes. That's the future I see. That's web push. We can push data to the client before they even know they need it. That's incredible. That is mind-blowing. This is game-changing right here. Web push still has a long way to go, but that's the future I see. Say you have, I don't know, the world's largest streaming video service. And, you log in, and we noticed that you've watched 10 seasons of Gilmore Girls, and you're about to start the 11th one. Well, what can we do? We can push that data to you before you even hit that button. I'm not saying that's actually what we do. No, we don't. But that's the kind of future I see. Or you run a streaming service provider for music. We push the music to you before you hit the next track when you're at the end. How cool is that? This is incredible. This is the bleeding edge. This is as far out as you can go, not well supported at all. And you need a service worker, absolutely. But this is a game changer right here. So I prattled on so long. Let's try a demo. All right, it's a live demo. Don't know it's going to work. So do me a favor. If you don't have Chrome on your phone, download it really fast. Probably should have said at the beginning, because this will only work on Chrome. Sorry, Safari. And we're going to try something, I don't know if it's ever been done before. Okay, so everybody got their phone. And if you navigate, wait, it's going to get this set up here. All right. So everybody who has Chrome, this probably won't work in any other browser. We're talking about the bleeding edge here. I'm sorry to everybody else. So if you go ahead and go to heartbeats.site, I've got a little demo set up. And I'm using all the buzzword things I can think of. HTTP2, TLS, secure WebSockets, web audio, web Bluetooth, observable, service worker, and Canvas via P5.js, which was just talked about. Great library. All right, so that in mind, if I can remember the right commands. Okay, woo! 160, 170, that's a lot of people on here. Lucky the server's not crashing. Okay, so I've got my control panel here. I also have the poo emoji, which, if something doesn't work, I can just fake it. Yeah, but hopefully that doesn't happen. So let's start off easy. If you can tap the heart button, just tap it. There we go. Now we're getting some love. Now we're getting a lot of love. All right, we can send some love to the client. This is easy. We're just doing WebSockets here. This is nothing complex. This is nothing groundbreaking here. All right, so you can see I'm sweating. I've worked up quite a bit of energy, but I don't know if you know how exhausting it is doing a presentation. Like, my heart rate's just pumping. And if you don't believe me, I'm gonna send you my heart rate. Let's see if we can get this to work. Oh, that was good. Come on, baby. Don't fail me now. All right. And there we go. Yeah, that's my heart rate. Yeah, and my heart's racing. Yeah. I don't, Thank you. I spent a long time getting this working, trust me. But I don't know if it's ever been done before. If not, yeah. But this is the future of the web. This is the web I see. And this is just a really simple demo. So, what do I see the future web? I see some sort of biometric device that can transmit data and help diagnose sick patients in far-off countries using a web application. You can build that, or you could build that, and it's because it's just JavaScript. This isn't anything crazy here. This is just JavaScript. I see a bright future for the web, and hopefully I've inspired some of you to go out and build something. Play around with Service Worker, play around with Web Push, build something, and next year I'll come watch you and see what you've built. I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you.